Hey, welcome back to Lowballing Outdoors. Well, I'm Alex. Well, today we're going to be going over the Killer Instinct Fuel 415. Stick around. We're going to be planking at the 25 to get this sucker kind of in tune, and we're going to stretch her legs all the way out to the 50 to see if she can hold together. I've heard a lot of good reviews and I've heard a lot of bad reviews. Well, today this is going to be our personal experience with the Killer Instinct Fuel 415. I've had this thing for a few weeks now, and I've ran over 50 rounds through it before I came here today. I wanted to just disclose that because I know a lot of folks have seen limb failures and everything else. I've not seen that yet, but by the end of this video we're gonna shoot probably 50 more on camera and off camera just to see how she's gonna hold up. Well, let's get into kind of the cool specs. This is a super sweet setup. This is adjustable. So you got adjustable length to pull, and that's going to help for bigger guys like me, little smaller ones, kind of help get them into that whole bow hunting, the crossbow hunting, just going out to the range, having a great time, hunting, shooting, whatever. Every time you cock this crossbow, it puts it on safe. So you'll have to click off the safety before you get ready to plink with it, which is a fantastic mode. Now here's my favorite part about this particular crossbow. Check this out. It has a built-in crank. Stick the lever in your back pocket, and we'll show you how to use this here in just a few minutes. But that's gonna turn this 210-pound draw weight into something super simple. It comes with limb silencers, string silencers, all that good stuff that you have to require, especially for a hunting crossbow. Well, enough of this yapping. Let's go see what we really came here for, the performance of the Killer Instinct Fuel 415. I'm going to show you just how easy this thing is when you're doing it correctly and not on the bench. When you're standing up, giving this thing the good old crank. Let's do that. First, you have a release lever right here that you lift up, and that's going to release your cocking mechanisms. You lift up on it. You put that one in there, you slide this one, cock it there. Now, you take your crank out, you hook it on here, and it is literally this easy. No problems at all pulling this thing back. You hear the click, you're ready to go. Pull it just a little bit further so you can get that release. Relax it off. Bingo. And especially if you're hunting, go ahead and put these back, and then we'll tighten up our string. Just go bingo, bingo. Then you'll tighten that back up so you don't got a bunch of stuff hanging around everywhere. Just as easy as that. This thing's ready to go. Well, let's go fire one of these things on downrange. All right, one of the most important things you need to do with any crossbow, or any bow for that fact, is lube up the areas where the arrow's gonna ride. Right here. Lube that slide all the way up and down it. Run it in. Don't forget to always lube your string. That is a very crucial part that's gonna help protect the string, make it last longer. I like to use aftermarket bolts in any of my crossbows because I like them kind of heavy. A little bit on the heavier side. It does slow down the bow, but it helps protect the limbs and takes out some of the vibration. But another important thing is make sure you take the odd fletching, stick that down in the channel, push it all the way in. We're going to check this grouping out of this bow. We got a target set down there at 25 yards. Let's see what kind of damage we could do with this thing. Take the safety off. Every time that you cock it, put an arrow in it, the safety comes on. Pop it off and you're ready to go. All right, here we go. We're gonna aim right at that center bullseye. We spin that camera around and show him what they did to that target. It flipped it over right now, but let's go check out that first shot on that target and let's see how good she did. Man, that thing hit it with some authority. I tell you what, let's set it back up. Let's run another arrow just to get a grouping down. We can always adjust the scope later. That's not a big deal. But let's get a grouping down just to see how well this thing's going to group. They make this super simple. I love it so I don't have to keep track of a string. You can take it, slap it on one, slap it on two, and it's just that easy. It came with a crank, so man, let's crank it up. This is supposed to have about a 210-pound draw weight. With this crank, this makes this so easy. You don't even have to try. Boom. Then you kind of release the tension a little bit. Bingo. Pull off your blocks, reel them back up. We're ready to go again with our next arrow. Well, let's spin the camera around there and make sure we can smack about the same spot. Let's see the grouping of this thing. That's what we're after today. Boom. Boom. Just like that. It looks like it grouped, but let's go check it out, guys. So it was a couple inches off to the right. So I moved it about 9 clicks over to the left. And I'm hoping that's enough to get it done. But we's about to find out. Alright, let's crank this bad boy back up. Boy, this crank makes it easy. I've never had one with a crank on it before. Now, I've heard a lot of bad stuff about Killer Instinct bows, but this is my second one I've had. Well, I'm having a hard time seeing anything crazy wrong with this thing. It just has worked so far. But we'll see how long it takes. I'll probably do an update video of this thing just to see. We'll look it over at the end of this video because it will have been shot a bunch off camera and on. So let's get this going. 50 yards. Spin that camera around there and show them 50 yards. 50 yards. That's a ways away. We're about to have a blast. I will aim just a little bit higher than I was for the point of impact. Let's see if we can get it without losing too many arrows. Let's do this.
Let's go.
Boom. That hit just under the bullseye. I'm gonna call that good. Second mark, 50 yards. We're good to go. Let's crank this back up and let's see if we can run a group the exact same. Oh man, love this stuff. So what do you guys think? Think this thing will group fairly well? At 50? Close range shots, about anything is gonna group well. I mean, I've had a bunch of different stuff over the years, but as soon as you start putting some range in it, it becomes tremendously more difficult for especially a cheaper crossbow or even a bow or whatever, rifle, to hold together. So this will be very exciting to see if we can get this done. Alright, I absolutely love this little crank. I don't know if I've said that enough times in this video. This crank is a lifesaver. Arrow number 2. Let's get this slid in. I'm going to use that second mark to mark again on the scope. Boom. Let's get this strung back up for number 3 and let's go check out the damage. This is gonna, oh man, I'm stoked. If we get anywhere close to like, I don't know, deer hunting capabilities at 50 yards, I'm gonna be happy. My last 405 Killer Instinct, no problems at 50 yards. But it's always good to check out the new stuff. Always take it to the range. Find out what she can do. Plus, I just like going to the range. It's fun. I try to keep all my bolts rather consistent, you know, the same grain, same brand, all that stuff whenever you're target practicing, also when you're hunting. I usually use 100 grain broadheads, so that's kind of what those field points are, 100 grains, just to keep everything kind of consistent from here to the field. And I know they will fly slightly different, but we're gonna give it a go. Last shot, 50 yards. Let's do this. Okay. Keep in mind that we do have quite a heavy breeze today. We got it coming from the left to the right, but let's go check it out. Oh man, it's not the tightest group in the world, but check this out. This is just standard bow size target. That's enough to take it out a deer. We do have a heavy breeze. As soon as we get in the timber, that's going to take the breeze away, but man, we got some deep penetration even at 50 yards. I mean, we're talking most of that arrow. This stuff is a blast. Guys, thanks for watching this episode of Lowell Outdoors, and man, I tell you what, so far this thing has been a blast. We haven't sustained any damage to it, and boy, we've had roughly about 100 rounds run through this thing right now. 100 rounds, listen to me. 100 bolts ran through this thing, and it's held up fine. Now, I will be planking with this thing in the future and everything else out in the woods this year, just to have a blast, see if she's gonna hold up. It sure is fun to plank with. And until next time, guys, keep it cheap.